What if AI could do more than just chat? What if AI could actually act for you, plan your trips, crunch complex data, even manage parts of your workflow, all on its own? Believe it or not, tools like OpenAI's research platform, Google's effort, and explosive new platforms like Manus are making this real right now. This isn't just the next step, folks. It's a whole new era of AI agents. Hey Techyvahid Nation, welcome back. Yes, the buzz is absolutely real. We are moving beyond simple chatbots toward autonomous AI agents. These are systems designed to understand complex goals and actually execute multiple step plans. Today, we are diving deep into this whole agentic AI revolution. We'll explore how platforms like the much hyped Manus work under the hood, what they can really do, tackle that crucial debate around AI wrappers, and of course, face the risk we just can't ignore. Let's get started. So when I say agent, what really makes it different from something like ChatGPT? Well, it often comes down to having superpowers, and sometimes it's not one giant AI brain, but more like a well-coordinated team. Yes, many advanced agents like the Manus platform use what's called a multi-agent system. Instead of one model trying to juggle everything, it works more like this. First, the boss, the executive, the planner. You give it a complex goal, right? Like research the entire electronic vehicle market. A central planner agent takes that and first breaks it down into smaller, manageable subtasks. This uses something called dynamic task decomposition. Basically, it creates the master plan. Second, the specialist, sub-agents. The planner then hands off these smaller tasks to specialized sub-agents. Think of them like your in-house experts. They all share the same info but focus on their specific job. Research, data analysis, maybe even writing code. Third, the toolbox, tool use. Now these sub-agents need tools. They intelligently pick from a whole suite of integrated tools, usually APIs to get their job done. Things like automating web browsing using tools like BrowserBase, securely running code in sandboxes like E2B, pulling info from files, hitting databases, you name it. Manus, for instance, apparently has access to dozens of these. Fourth, thinking and adjusting, action and reflection. As the agents work, they use clever techniques. One example mentioned these: chain of thoughts injection, which basically lets them stop thinking about their progress and update the plan if needed. Keeps things stable even after lots of steps. Fifth, the finisher, executor, synthesizer. Once all the subtasks are done, the final agents pull everything together, makes sense of it all, and gives you the final result. This whole modular approach means agents can specialize and tackle really complex jobs, probably better than one single AI trying to do it all. What do you think? Does this team of AI agents sound super powerful or maybe just overly complicated? Let me know your thoughts below in the comment. Okay, whether it's one agent or a whole team, how do they figure out what to do from one moment to the next? It's not magic, it's actually a pretty neat loop. Often the core reasoning uses a cycle called react. That's reason and act. Even in a multi-agent setup, the individual agents or the main planner are constantly doing this. Observe, they look at the situation. What info do I have? What just happened? Reason, they look for reason. The main AI brain, the LLM like Cloud Tree Sonnet, which Manus uses, thinks about the next logical steps to reach the goal. It might even internally say something like, okay, found 5 recipes, need to check reviews and make sure they're vegetarian. Act is next. Based on that reasoning, it picks an action, usually involving a specific tool. Action: use web search tool for recipe A reviews. Or action, use shopping list API to add tomatoes, and they just keep repeating this loop, using the result of each action to figure out the next step until the job's done or they hit a wall. And memory is key here. Short-term memory for the current task and sometimes long-term memory using fancy techniques like RAG to remember things like your preferences or past successes. Agents aren't a brand new idea, so why are we suddenly seeing Manus, DeepSeek agents, and others popping up everywhere? It took a few key things lining up just right. It really was a perfect storm. Smarter AI brains. The big AI models finally got really good at complex reasoning and following instructions, good enough to be reliable agent brains. Everything's connected. APIs. Pretty much every app or website now has an API, a way for programs to talk to each other. This gives agents the hands they needed to actually do things online. Cloud platforms made that power accessible to more than just giant tech companies. DevTools and community buzz. Open source tools like LangChain, Autogen made it way easier for developers everywhere to start building agents. That sparked a huge wave of experimentation and progress. Theory is great, but let's see it work. Planning a trip takes ages, right? Imagine an agent like Manus tackling it. Let's pick a goal. Plan a 7-day trip to Paris for October. Budget $2,000, excluded flights. Find a well-reviewed Airbnb near the Eiffel Tower. Create a balanced itinerary mixing major landmarks and local cafes. Add it all to my Google Calendar. Here's how an agent team might break it down. Planner agent. Okay, goal receive. First research, then find place, build schedule, check budget, output. Research subagent. Using web search, checks cost, weather, list landmarks, find cool cafe spots. Accommodation on sub-agent using Airbnb API web scrape. Searches Airbnb near the Eiffel Tower. Filters by ratings, price, host status. Maybe shows you the top 3 options or just books the best fit if you allowed it. Itinerary sub-agent using planning logic plus map API. Group sites smartly. Louvre near Tuileries Garden. Figures out realistic timings. Find the specific cafe near your planned stops. Thinking. Day 1. Arrive, check in, easy walk by the Eiffel Tower, find a nice dinner cafe. Executor agents pulls it together. Uses the Google Calendar API tool to create detailed events. Generates a nice summary document. Think about the hours that saves. And platforms like Manus are aiming for transparency. Sometimes letting you peek behind the curtain at the files or sub-agents, which is more insight than you get from the standard chatbot. Seriously, what's the absolute first annoying task you'd hand off to a reliable personal AI agent? Alright, let's put an agent in a suit. Keeping tabs on competitors is vital but total grind unless you automate it. Your goal: monitor my key competitors XYZ for our product type. Give me weekly summaries of their big moves, product launches, and how people are talking about them online. Agent team approach. Planner agent. Okay, continuous monitoring needed. Sets up recurring tasks for the specialist. News sub-agent using News API web scraper. Scans headlines and articles for relevant company. Product mentions daily. Social sub-agent using social media APIs plus sentiment tool. Tracks mentions on Twitter, Reddit, and etc. Gauges if the buzz is positive or negative and spots any sudden shifts. Finance sub-agent using finance APIs. Pulls public earning reports or stock data if relevant. Synthesizer or executor agent. Each week it gathers the key finding from all sub-agents. Uses its reasoning to figure out what actually important. Writes up a clean, concise report maybe with charts and uses an email or Slack API tool to send it straight to your team. Manus specifically mentions doing things like financial analysis analysis, compiling databases, comparing insurance policies, finding suppliers. These are exactly the kinds of complex, multi-step business tasks where this agent approach shines. But let's be real, how good are these agents compared to us humans? Measuring how smart these agents are is tricky. One standard test is called GAIA. It throws complex reasoning, web browsing, and tool using challenges at them. Now, humans usually score around 92% on GAIA. Manus made waves by scoring about 86.5% right out of the gate. Way better than some earlier attempts by the big players. So they're getting seriously capable, closing the gap, even if they're not quite at human level across the board on these tests yet. Travel, finance, research, presentations. Seriously, the list of what these agents can tackle is already wide, and it's growing like crazy. Okay, time for some real talk. There's this big debate online. Are tools like Manus truly new, or just fancy wrappers built on top of existing AI like Cloud or GPT? You'll hear critics dismiss platforms that use foundation models from other companies like OpenAI or Anthropic and connect various tools as just wrappers. Manus gets called this, so do tools like the coding helper Cursor or the legal AI Harvey. But hold on, is that really fair? Let's be honest, most successful AI apps today are wrappers by that definition. They take powerful core models and build useful workflows and interfaces around them. As one of Manus' co-founders apparently said, they chose not to build the core AI brain, but to build on top of the best ones available. The real innovation, they argue, isn't always the absolute core model, but how you orchestrate it, the plumbing, the user experience, the specific problem you solve. So what makes a good wrapper stand out? Smart architecture, like that multi-agent system we talked about. Great UI, making something complex feel easy and intuitive. Clever fine-tuning, testing, making sure it works really well for specific tasks. Seamless tool integration, choosing the right tool and making them work together smoothly and securely. Cost saving. Manus, for example, claims it's much cheaper per task, like $2, than some big integrated platforms, probably because of how they manage the AI calls. Transparency and control. Some wrappers like Manus showing its work give you more control than a black box system. So maybe wrapper isn't an insult. Often the real value is in that thoughtful integration and the user experience. What's your take? Is building clever system on top of existing AI wrapping truly innovative, or does the real progress only come from new core models? But let's not kid ourselves. Building a business as a wrapper has its own serious headache. While using existing tech lets you move fast, it creates vulnerabilities, complexity. Managing lots of agents and tools gets tricky as things scale up. Easy to copy? Clever UI or agent setups can sometimes be copied by competitors, maybe even by the big guys whose models you're using. Dependency. You're totally reliant on those big AI companies. If they suddenly jack up API prices or change their policies, your whole business model could break overnight. Those cost savings? Proof. So how do these companies build something that lasts, a real competitive moat, gets sticky, embed the agent deep into users' daily workflows or company systems so it's hard to switch away? Unique data testing. Develop proprietary data sets or tough evaluation methods that others can't easily copy. Exclusive access. Integrate with platforms or data sources that competitors can't get to. Build a brand or community. Create loyalty that goes beyond just the features. Often long-term success here isn't about having the absolute newest AI core, but about building a product people love and trust, ideally with some unique data or integration advantage. Okay, time to zoom back out. With agents acting on their own, the potential downsides get scarier. We absolutely have to confront the amplified risk. Security nightmares. Malicious agents could automate scams, spread disinformation, steal data. The potential for automated harm at scale is huge. Securing these systems is incredibly hard. Reliability roulette. Remember, these AIs can still hallucinate or just get things wrong. An agent acting autonomously on bad info, that could cause real-world chaos in finance, logistics, anywhere. Error checks and human oversights are vital. The job market shakeup. Automation of cognitive tasks like research, writing, scheduling, coding will accelerate. This isn't maybe, it's happening. We need serious proactive plans for retraining and supporting people through these massive shifts. The control problem alignment. This is a big one for AI safety folks. How do we guarantee these increasingly smart, autonomous systems always stick to our intended goals and complex human values? Preventing unintended bad outcomes is a massive challenge. Bias laundering. Agents trained on biased data could automate discrimination in hiring, loans, you name it, making it systematic and harder to spot. Who's responsible? If an agent messes up, whose fault is it legally? The user? The developer? The AI company? Our laws are way behind the tech. These aren't sci-fi problems anymore. They're practical, ethical, and legal challenges we need to solve as these agents become more integrated into our lives. So faced with all this, how do we actually prepare ourselves for this agent-filled future? It really boils down to a few key strategies. Get AI literate. Don't just be a user. Understand how these things work. Know their strengths, but more importantly, their weakness and biases. Keep learning. Hey, subscribing here helps. Double down on human skills, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, complex communication, ethical judgment. These are the things agents can easily replicate. They become even more valuable. Become super adaptable. The world of work is changing fast. Be ready to reskill. Be flexible. Your ability to adapt is crucial. Practice healthy skepticism. Don't just blindly trust what an agent tells you or does. Question it. Verify critical information. Be aware of potential errors and manipulation. Join the conversation. Talk about AI ethics. Discuss governance. Advocate for responsible development. Our collective voice matters in shaping how this technology rolls out. Look, AI agents, whether it's Manus or the next big thing, represent a truly massive leap. The potential is incredible, but the challenges are serious, and we need to face them head on. Fostering that kind of informed critical perspective, that's the core mission here at Techyvahid. That 100,000 subscriber goal I talk about, it's not just chasing a number. It's about building a community that's big enough, informed enough, and engaged enough to really understanding and thoughtfully navigate these powerful shifts together. So thank you for taking the time for thinking critically along with me today. It genuinely matters. Alright, that was our updated deep dive into the wild world of AI agents. Seriously, thank you so much for watching and sticking with me through all of that. So much more to unpack in the future. You can bet on that. Until the next time we connect, stay sharp, stay wired with Techyvahid.